and welcome to another session of the 16th Jaipur Literature Festival 2023, protected by Dettol, Banega Swasth India. Next up is the perfect pitch, or the perfect pitch session at the Jaipur Literature Festival. We begin with a small jury discussion, and then we do have the small matter of an award to give away, which you will also know by the end of it. And this session is presented by Penguin Random House, who are also hosting the session later. The leading publishing house in India, Penguin Random House, marks its 35th year in the country with the launch of a one-of-a-kind platform to discover and mentor emerging writers from the country, in association with the world's largest literary festival, and we're all sitting here. Titled The Perfect Pitch, it is a mentorship initiative to scout for the best pitch for unpublished, submission-ready work by aspiring writers and storytellers, where the candidates can win an opportunity to be guided by experts in publishing and the literary world, and also polish their pitch. Our first panelist today is Tanuj Solanki. His new novel, Manjhi's Mayhem, has been called an Indian noir at its finest. His novel, The Machine is Learning, was longlisted for the JCB Prize for Literature 3 years ago. And in 2019, he was awarded the Sahitya Akademi Yuva Puraskar for his short story collection, Diwali in Muzaffarnagar. Our second jury member today is Elizabeth Kuruvilla. Journalist turned editor, Elizabeth is associate publisher at Penguin Random House India and is responsible for strengthening the literary fiction and non-fiction lists for the vintage imprint of the publishing house. In Penguin, Elizabeth has commissioned and published award-winning and critically acclaimed original and translated works. Previously, she was a journalist with mainstream national newspapers and magazines such as the Indian Express, Hindustan Times, Mint, Open, and The Hindu. Our third jury member today is Gurveen Chadha, an executive editor and foreign rights lead at Penguin Random House India. Gurveen spearheads the commissioning and publishing list for imprints such as Ebury Press, Penguin Veer, Penguin Ananda, and Penguin Metro Reads. In Penguin, Gurveen is known to publish popular non-fiction books, including memoirs, biographies, and true accounts. Our last panelist today is Shreya Punj, known as the editor. Recommends on the internet, Shreya is a book editor who has been part of the Indian publishing industry for the last 8 years. She's worked at Penguin India and HarperCollins Publishers India and has published many best-selling authors. Her account on Instagram focuses on making publishing more accessible, much like this award, to aspiring authors, and the account has over 20,000 followers. We also have Arunava Sinha on the jury today, but he could not make it due to scheduling issues at JLF itself. I now invite Chaitanya, who's part of the communications team at Penguin Random House, to take over the session. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mridul, and a very warm good afternoon to everyone who's here. We are very excited, and if you find me coughing, please excuse that because I'm a little under the weather. But let's get this session started because all of us are clearly waiting for it. And can I request Shreya or the editor recommends to quickly come up and share what exactly is the perfect pitch, the idea, why we did it, why are we doing it, and all the important things that makes it the perfect pitch. Over to you, Shreya.
Thanks, Chaitanya. Hi, everyone. I hope you're all full of energy because I'm assuming that since you're at JLF, you're all lovers of art, literature, and you want to support authors, right? Clap if that's right. Yes, yes, thank you. I know it's past lunchtime, but this is no time to snooze because we at Penguin are so excited about what's to come. Let me tell you what's to come. Isaac Asimov said, "You must keep sending work out. You must never let a manuscript do nothing but eat its head off in a drawer." Now, that's an excellent quote, but if you're an aspiring writer, more often than not, you don't know what to do with what you've written. You don't know whom to pitch it to. Publishers seem like these gigantic, critiques who are out to get you, who don't want to return or reply to your emails. You have no idea whom to pitch to and how. So, which is why the Jaipur Literary Festival and Penguin Random House, along with the editor recommends, decided to start this mentorship program called The Perfect pitch. What's our aim here? Our aim here is to give a platform to all of you who have a book inside you, ideally a manuscript that's kind of ready, and you're just looking for a place where it can be considered for publication without, having to do too much about it other than read the rules and participate correctly. I'm very happy to let you know that in the 3 weeks of running this, keeping the entries open, we received over 200 entries. And the novels range from, dystopia to family drama. We got romance. We also got thrillers and murder mysteries. So there's no dearth of ideas within us. And this is what we are here to celebrate. But out of 200 entries, only 5 finalists were chosen. The competition was intense because readers are discerning. You read what you love, and it's our job here to make sure we deliver on that promise, right? I'm very pleased to bring on stage the 5 finalists whose pitches were perfect, quite literally. They delivered on the promise of exciting the reader. They had original premises. They stuck to the 1,500 word limit, which many participants failed to do. And as a note for all of you who may want to participate next year, because I've been told that Penguin wishes to do this year on year. So exciting times ahead for everybody who wants to be published. Over to you, Chaitanya. Please, let's call the finalists.
Thank you, Shreya. But before we do that, I think, as Shreya rightly said, there are so many things about publishing. As an outsider, we don't really know, especially when you want to get a book published, who to pitch it to, how to write a pitch, what is a manuscript, and so on and so forth. So today, just taking a little delve into that and also understanding how the literary landscape in India is trying to find new writers, trying to find new talent, new voices. We have a short panel discussion, and I now request Shreya to start moderating it.
All right, it's me again. My first question is directed to the author amongst us. He's a well-seasoned, awarded, highly regarded author. Hi, Tanuj.
Hello.
My question to you is that given that you've been a part of the jury and you're published, I would love to know that how do you think a mentorship program like this could benefit the people who are finalists here?
So for this question, for the answer to this question, I go back to days when I was writing and I was not published. And one was always hankering for, like someone who was, who had been through the journey. Could I share my writing with them? Could I, exchange notes with them? So one would always want that. And I think a program like this, just for the finalists, for example, to be in conversation for an hour, for a couple of hours, I think it can be a very, very enriching experience, because writing is one thing, and the publication process is quite another. And you can come to writing very naturally and also have a lot of talent and finish your stories, novels, or whatever it is that you're writing. But then the desire to, take it out to the world, that requires a completely different skill, if that's the right word. That requires a completely different kind of know-how, and people need help. When I was starting, I needed help, and I think I was lucky to find the people who would provide that for me. So I think it's an exciting, opportunity for all the finalists to be in touch with writers, to be in touch with publishers, and get to know what happens after the writing is done. I think that's very, very crucial, because otherwise it can look like a dense jungle that you can't really make sense of from a distance. Yeah.
Thank you for that extremely honest answer. And on the topic of making sense of things, I turn to my colleagues and friends, Elizabeth and Gurveen, who have commissioned some really excellent books that you must have all read, seen, or at least bought. Elizabeth, my question to you is that when we were choosing the finalists, there was something about each pitch that made us gravitate toward them. which is something we do on a daily basis for our jobs as well. Could you let us know what makes for a good pitch?
I think in terms of fiction, we all love a good story. I think it's as simple as that. And if you have been able to communicate well, and if you have been able to make you feel that you really need to, you want to read this novel and you want to know the different characters, and you want to see how the plot develops, and how it ends, So that's really it. And the amazing thing about these pitches, when we all read it, there was a long list, and we read it, and they were all, as Shreya mentioned earlier, there was dystopia, there was romance, there was a thriller, there was literary fiction, and both Gurveen and I read it, and we both loved the same 5 proposals, and the finalists who are here, we just loved it, and we could see a book in it, and we really wanted to, we actually waiting to read the manuscripts. We would love to read them, and that's really, it's really simple, it's a good story, and that's what it is.
Very true. Gurveen, would you like to add to that?
I think with fiction, I always believe it's also about taste and personal liking, because no two people are going to like the same book, and especially when it comes to fiction. So we were quite amazed that we picked the same 5 pitches, and I think you're in for some great books in the future.
And what we're not mentioning here is that out of the 215 entries we got, there was a long list of 15, and it is amongst those 15 that all of us here and the other jury member, Arunava Sinha, seemed to like these 5. So there is something to be said about a good story that cuts across genres, it cuts across individual likings. It's just, as Elizabeth said, the ability to see a book and be interested in the characters that were presented to us. On that note, Chaitanya, over to you again.
Yes, thank you, Shreya, and thank you, jury members, for that honest and insightful discussion. Now, no longer taking any time, Shreya mentioned there were over 250 entries, and we have 5 of them with us. And we thought what order to call them, and we suggested that it's best we go in reverse, because oftentimes they said in schools, colleges, they've always gone in the alphabetical order. So coming up first, we have Subi Taba. Subi is a poet and a short story writer based in Arunachal Pradesh. She was awarded 100 Inspiring Authors of India for her debut poetry anthology called Dear Bohemian Man. Her short fictions, A Night with Tiger, won the New Asian Short Story Prize 2020. The Last Priest was shortlisted for the Twist and Twain Short Story Prize 2021. And The Lost Village won a 3rd prize at the International Literary Contest Nature 2021. Over to you, Shubhi.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. My esteemed regards to the esteemed panel. And good afternoon, everyone. My name is Subi Taba. I'm from Arunachal Pradesh, a state which is nestled in the far east of India, and a little is known about the state. I bet many of the people gathered here will know very less about the societal norms that are practiced in Arunachal Pradesh. So my work, Tales from the Hinterlands, is an attempt to present the readers of India a raw glimpse into the world of Arunachal Pradesh. I have prepared PPT. Can the PPT be displayed already? Next. So there are 10 short stories in my collection, which have a flavor of traditional elements, which are shaped by the geography of the lofty mountains of Arunachal Pradesh, which are conspired by the wild creatures hiding in the dark forest and lived in the oral memories of tribes with supernatural faith and belief system. Next. The first story is A Night with a Tiger. It is a story where a solo hunter gets trapped inside a den with a tiger, and he thinks that he has fought and overcome the tiger, but the tiger follows that man, camouflaging as a spirit tiger. The next story is Macabre Memories of Headless Humans. Many of you won't be knowing that headhunting was not only practiced in states like Nagaland, but in eastern Arunachal also headhunting was practiced among the tribes so as to maintain ownership of lands. So this story is inspired by the headhunting culture in Arunachal. The next is The Last Priest. We have a religion in Arunachal called Donyi Polo, which is the sun moon god. And because of cultural appropriation, it is getting lost. So this story is an attempt to portray what the last priest practicing the Donyi Poloism feels at present day. The next story, The Lost Village. It is a retelling of an urban legend that a whole village and its villagers disappeared after they tried to kill a python and his human companion. The next is The Curse of the High Priest. In Arunachal, priesthood is regarded as a religion, and it is seen that a lot of cultures and tribes have their priests who have supreme power that can curse the generations. And also Love and Longing in Sijosa and Spirit of Forest next, which talks about the natural beauty and the forest situation that is happening in Sijosa. And I have The Cobra Man, which is a funny story about a man going viral in the social media because of a funny video. The next is Plant, Pig, and Human, which is an attempt to tell the story of the slave tribes of Arunachal. And lastly, my collection ends with the title A Man from China, which is basically a love story when a man from Arunachal gets lost in the Chinese border and falls in love with a Tibetan woman. Thank you. This is my brief synopsis.
Thank you, Subi. That was very interesting collection of short stories. Next up, we have Sanjana Lokur. Sanjana is a poet at heart, a copywriter by profession, a passionate tea and biscuit consumer. Between client and short-form copy, she squeezes in time to write about what she loves most: family, dysfunction, and the intricacies of human behavior. Having lived away from her own family for years, she's developed a keen sense of what works with them and, most importantly, what doesn't.
Hello, everyone, and hi, guys, thank you. So, in every language, there is an equivalent of Chodo yaar, hame kya lena dena isse. For our non-Indian friends in the audience, it's a colloquial way of saying, let's not talk about this because it has nothing to do with us. In Marathi, we say, Zao de, apल्याला काय करायचंय? After, of course, having discussed the drama at length, which of course has nothing to do with us. So what happens when a family that talks about everyone but themselves is faced with a bunch of secrets that is definitely going to force them to confront every single issue that they've successfully avoided like the plague all their life? Hi, I'm Sanjana, and I have a vested interest in family drama, to save you the trouble of guessing. I'm from Pune, which is the city in Maharashtra to really experience and live the best combination of generational modesty, snobbery, and a pathological avoidance of talking about anything more serious than why you don't want a second cup of tea. And it is these three elements that I explore in my story about a family that seems to have everything, but lacks a sense of what it really means to be together. The Paranspes are old money wealthy, generational dwellers in the most respected pin code of the city, and have the fair skin, fair eyes look associated with a warped sense of superiority and inherent cheapness also. Two daughters who left home at the age of 18, their parents who rediscovered life after children, make up this family who has now forgotten what it's really like to live together under one roof again. Is it really all about just gorging on mom's homemade food or discussing life and life advice with Baba over countless cups of chai? Or is it really about getting tired, catching up on the happening lives of everyone you know back in your hometown? Is it about trying not to reveal information that will definitely cause some sort of attack, heart, emotional, or otherwise? Or is it about trying not to get upset that everyone just seems to be doing fine without each other? So when the Paranspes come together again after 6 years for a monumental family wedding, they're just looking forward to having a cup of tea together and have promised not to look under the covers to see what's beneath. But when everyone invited brings secrets along with biscuits and bakar vadi to the table, that big day, it threatens to implode and take the family's relationships and reputation down with it. So how on earth are a bunch of people who are well-meaning, overbearing, dysfunctional, completely ill-equipped to handle big emotions going to deal with such a scandal? Well, I can't give that away now, can I? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sanjana. I can proudly attest I come from a dysfunctional family, and it gets as dysfunctional that we definitely don't talk about what's important, and I'm sure a lot of people in the audience also agrees. Next up is Rachit Raj. Rachit is a film critic. His writing has been published on popular websites like Film Companion and High on Films. He has a blog, The Recliner Seat. Rachit wrote the 5th season of Dice Media's mini-series, Firsts, which was an inter-abled love story. And we now have Rachit coming up on stage. Can you please have a round of applause in the meanwhile he's here? Check.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, jury. As you just heard, my name is Rachit Raj. And to begin my pitch, I would like to go into my MPhil first. During my MPhil, I did my research around Nazi Germany and the condition of disabled during Hitler's rule. And around that time, this idea germinated that has now turned into a manuscript. The idea is set a few years ahead in India, in a world, in a government, where to be a disabled is to be killed. The idea is that if you're disabled, you will be killed. And we follow our protagonist, Maya, a nurse who is a part of the system that exterminates disabled people on a regular basis, on a day-to-day basis. The story follows her coming of age and also explores important ideas as to how genocide as an idea is not limited to one place or one time period. It's a cyclic nature. It's an idea that is cyclic in nature and has an ability to reappear again and again. And it's important, hence, to be understanding of it and to have the right knowledge about it. But also, more importantly, what my pitch also tries to explore deeply is how a person who does not have the courage, the bravery, or the privilege to raise their voice against the system, someone who is dependent on monthly income, how can they make a difference when they know that they are in the wrong and they want to do something? Can even a little change make a big difference? And the idea is that even if you cannot save the dead, even if you can't save people from being killed, can you ensure that their memories, that their essence is not completely buried away so that at least they are remembered even if they are not saved? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachit. That definitely sounds like a moving and a very, very relevant read. Next up, we have Nona Uppal. Nona stumbled her way into writing on accident amid the throes of public policy career path and dove headfirst into it. In the last year, she has self-published in fiction and autofiction, building a community of 18,000 across Instagram, Twitter, and Substack, where her work has been shared over 50,000 times. As a freelance journalist, she has also published with The Washington Post, The Quint, and Mint Lounge, among the others. Over to you, Nona.
Hi, my name is Nona. Yes, that's my real name. Yes, that goes on my passport too, just to get all of the jokes out of the way. And I'm here to pitch you a romance novel idea because when all of my friends were reading Harry Potter, I was finding magic in romance novels. And by some stroke of good luck, I get to pitch my romance novel, Fool Me Twice, set in New Delhi here to the jury. In Fool Me Twice, we meet our female protagonist, Sana, who has been in love with her boyfriend and middle school sweetheart for 10 years now, who's Ashish. Sana is a class topper and a crowd favorite, and Ashish is just charming and charismatic and the kind of boy that every parent adores. And even at 20 years old, Sana and Ashish are certain they're ending up together. Well, life has other plans. On one New Year's Eve night, Ashish passes away in a car accident, and Sana's life goes from a rom-com to a tragedy in one night. Where most of her friends are just getting started going on first dates, Sana is at her series finale. And then in walks our plot twist, the male protagonist, Pranav. Sana's college senior, a loudmouthed backbencher, and the antithesis of anything Sana has ever looked for in her entire life. But his filmy and eccentric ways pull Sana in, and Pranav just manages to shoulder her grief better than anyone else she knows. And then, as it happens in rom-coms, the inevitable happens. Sana is falling in love with Pranav, but there are fears that perplex her. Am I cheating on Ashish? Will I ever be able to do the dating thing again? And the worst fear of all, oh my God, what if he doesn't like me back? Fool Me Twice is my ode to romance. It's my ode to the unflinching belief that even when love doesn't conquer all, it conquers enough. Because at the end of the day, this entire crowd, when you have a bad day, when you have a bad breakup, or a horrible day at work, you're tuning on to Jab We Met, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Ye Jawani Hai Diwani. Why aren't we reading about these novels, and why aren't we reading them in a novel form? That was my novel idea, Fool Me Twice, and thank you.
Thank you. I love a good romance. I'm primarily a romance reader. How many romance readers are there? Can we just have a quick show of hands? Oh, that's interesting. Quite a few of you. Next up, and last but not the least, we have Arunima Tara. Arunima did her bachelor's in history from Lady Shri Ram College, Delhi University, followed by a diploma in non-fiction filmmaking from Sri Aurobindo Center for Arts and Communications, New Delhi. Arunima has been selected for a consultation mentorship as a part of the Asian Women's Writer. Her first film, For Susan, was selected for the Mumbai International Film Festival 2018 and is currently available on the streaming platform Mubi. Over to you, Arunima.
Hi everyone, my name is Arunima Tenzintara. I'm a writer, filmmaker, and cook from New Delhi. The novel I'm pitching today is called Sundays at Tolstoy, and it's complete at 80,000 words. It's a family saga disguised as a crime thriller, a multi-point of view story about 3 generations of women, Meera, Naina, and Malvika, who live in a posh bungalow in central Delhi called Tolstoy House, under the watchful eye of one man. 82-year-old Meera is mother to Naina and grandmother to Malvika. One ordinary Sunday night, Meera falls, hits her head on the dressing table, and dies. Or so her husband says. The next morning, Naina wipes blood off the bedroom floor. She ties a sari around her mother's dead body, lowering the pallu to hide her face before the cremation. 27-year-old Malvika was not supposed to be at the house that night, but she came to make a chili pickle, and now she has a photograph on her phone, a photo of a disfigured, bloody face, one that is missing its right cheek. The truth doesn't let Malvika sleep at night. She knows her beloved Naniji was murdered. A series of old love letters point to many more dead bodies, and telltale signs of narcissistic abuse indicate that the killer is a lot closer to home. Suddenly pregnant at 45, Naina must escape the clutches of her toxic family before the new child is born. And Malvika, despite being crippled by conditioning and trauma, needs to confront a serial killer. The novel is peppered with recipes and would appeal to fans of complex family dramas with dual timelines, like Lisa Jewell's The Family Upstairs, and those interested in feminist narratives of the domestic lives of women, like in Anandita Ghosh's The Illuminated. Thank you.
Thank you, Arunima. Those were some really amazing authors that I've read, so I am waiting to go after your manuscript and read them if you allow me. But thank you for being so patient. I will now request our jury to take some time to discuss, and then when you're ready, I would request Elizabeth to come up and share the winner.
While we are discussing this between ourselves, does the crowd have a favorite? If yes, please.
Tell us.
Tell us.
Ma'am in the front. Sabi?
Who? Okay, Sabi.
Shubi. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Any other favorites? Yes, you. Arunima. Got
Arunima.
it.
Arunima, okay.
Okay, you know what I'll do? I'll read out the name. I'll say the name. Those who like the pitch, raise
Yes.
your hand. Does that work?
Yeah, that definitely works.
Don't raise your hand twice. And we will consider your opinions too while deliberating upon our own. All right, raise your hand for Subi if you loved her collection of stories. All right, that's great to know. Thank you for paying attention. Those who are in favor of Rachit. People at the back, were you not listening? Are you not interested? Come on. We'll keep it in mind, by the way, when we're judging your pictures next year. All right. What about romance and Nona? It's good to see that people are interested in romance. All right. Whose name am I missing? Arunima, yes. Oh, wow. That's great. Arunima, I hope you're seeing this and I hope you're happy. And the last one is Sanjana.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you so much for those votes. Really appreciate you being here and being so interested in the pitches. I think it's just heartening to see so many people support unpublished young writers. Now we shall deliberate off mic.
Jury, are you ready?
I think we are.
Okay.
10, 10, 10. Elizabeth, please.
Elizabeth, could you please announce? Yeah, come.
Yes, please. And do let everybody know why we chose whom we chose.
Okay, I don't know whether I should say winner, you know, I think as far as we are concerned, they're all winners as such, and we would really see, and very seriously like to see all of these 5 novels being published. And I hope you all will be buying it when they do get published, hopefully soon, since some of them seem to be ready. And since there is only one of the 5 finalists who will be entering the mentorship program, along with Tanuj and Arunava and editors at Penguin, we decided that I think one of them we all loved. It was quite unanimous. It kind of transported us, took us to the people and to the place where it was centered. And amazingly, I should also, it is Subitaba's work. And I am really pleased to, I must add that in English publishing houses, short stories don't really get as much of a chance as novels do. So I'm so happy that this is the one that, that is receiving this award.
Can we have another big round of applause for Subi? Subi, could we request you to please come and share a few words?
Thank you so much, judges. I wasn't expecting this. Thank you so much. It's a very big opportunity for me. I started working on this manuscript 2 years back. I actually started writing seriously after the pandemic. Before pandemic, I was thinking of writing, but I always had some other work because I work as an agriculture officer in the government. But during the pandemic, I really got time to work on a story collection. And I'm very happy that I didn't give up. This short story collection has overcame a pandemic. Also, my dad got sick on the way. He suffered a stroke. And I also went through a lot of emotional ups and downs, but I didn't give up. And I actually want to thank one of my friends, Arijit Nandi, who actually told me about this pitch. If he didn't have sent me the message, I wouldn't have known about this pitching contest. So thank you, Arijit. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, Penguin. Thank you, Jaipur Literature Festival. And I'm looking forward for the mentorship with these wonderful writers and editors in Penguin. Thank you.
Thank you, Subi, and congratulations once again. With that, we come to a close, but I would like to thank all of you for patiently listening, to all the 5 finalists for paying attention, for being interested, for voting. Next year, we will definitely come back with the perfect pitch. I'm hoping editor recommends is also agreeing and nodding to this. And with that, I now ask Mridul to take over. Thank you.
We would like to thank our jury for that interesting session and also congratulate all the finalists as well as the winner, Subi. We will shortly begin the next session. We also thank Penguin Random House India for hosting that, the pitch perfect pitch pardon me. Perfect pitch session here at Jaipur Literature Festival. And we will see you next up in the next 20 minutes. Thank you.